it's gonna be alright. If you sway to the left, if you sway to the right, it's gonna be alright. If you sway to the left, if you sway to the right.
What is going on, guys? It's Adam aka Marv. Today we're going to be covering a lot of different articles, including some that have just come out about the coming second wave. We're talking about empty shelves, and grocery stores are now preparing. In fact, even my local one, I'm lucky enough to have somebody that works there. They said that they are preparing for something massive. So we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. We'll be right back on all platforms right after this.
It's gonna be alright.
All right. What is going on, guys? My name is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. If you've never been here before, this is a live show. It's normally a live call-in show. Tonight, we're going to be going over all of the news. We have a lot we're going to cover in a short time period, so I just want to make sure you guys know. Of course, nothing in this show should be considered medical, legal, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that being said, if you're not getting notified by any of the platforms, if they're doing updates or down dates or blind dates, whatever they're doing, you can go to our website. You can go to marfooglenews.com and click that red bell. If you do that, you will actually get push notifications to your phone when we go live, when we put out an article, whenever we put out a piece. You can also sign up for those articles. We actually have large creators, some of which you will not be able to see on YouTube anymore, writing articles for our email system. So remember, we already had some things in the works, but now there are a ton of people reaching out because they don't have a platform anymore. Again, we are pretty shocked by the recent events. That is why we kind of had to step back for a second and just really look at what is going on. It looks like we weren't under that kind of umbrella of the people that kind of got knocked out, but man, it is crazy out there. We'll talk about it later, so we'll get into that. But again, you can follow along on our website. We back up everything we say here. We actually make a bibliography of sorts, and it's all very easy to navigate. So if you go to our website, you'll see it's navigated. The navigation is the thumbnail. So if you see this thumbnail, click on it, and when you do, you will actually get every single tweet, every single video, every single piece that we put out. It will be right here. So you will be able to read this on a second device. You'll be able to follow along. You'll be able to go back and read the entire article. If we only cover the first paragraph and you're like, man, this is the most interesting thing in the world, I want to go read it, you can. And then on the right side, if you want to support independent journalism such as this show, if you enjoy it and you want to protect yourself against different things, or even just buy things on Amazon, all of our links are on the right to support the show. Again, thank you guys that do support us, and we do really appreciate it. Okay, without further ado, let's introduce my co-host and normally call screener, Dex. What is going on, man? How are you?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing really good.
So obviously, we have had we didn't take a break from doing our show. We took a break from YouTube just for a minute, but of course we've been over on DLive. I want to remind people, go over to DLive and make sure to follow, because if I know that people have had problems with it. They've updated over the last year, and it has actually been really great lately. They did have one more update. They were updating subscriptions or something, so there was an error like that. But other than that, it has been way better. We've had times where there was buffering and people thought, oh, it's DLive, but it was on both platforms. And then last month we had an issue where it was buffering one time. That was the entire nation was going down. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too. That's going to be mentioned. There are several hacks going on as we speak, and we are just days now, pretty much. We're talking about how many days now? Less than about 2 weeks until November 4th, which we are all expecting massive change. This entire planet is going to change depending on what ends up happening. So we're expecting that. But one thing that we are 100% expecting is a second wave, right? This has been put out there, and now all of a sudden, over the last few days, every place in the country, every place in the world is talking about it. The world is locking back down. There are, of course, places like Sweden that never locked down in the first place, but then again, there's places all over the world now that are re-locking down, and they're doing this it could kind of happened very quickly. In fact, some of them were on the flip-flop or on the fence, and then boom, they were saying, oh, we're going to lock down in the next 3 days. So I would not expect to get much warning before we are all completely in mandatory lockdown. It's in my opinion, that first round was just kind of practicing and getting it straight. If you remember the first time that we got locked down, they actually were starting doing checkpoints, almost practice. They did checkpoints between New York and Rhode Island. Indiana was completely closed off. You could not go in or out. I think if you were an Indiana resident, you could come in, but you could not go in if you were not an Indiana resident. So no visitors, no nothing. That's pretty scary when you talk about highway checkpoints and things like this. I know that a lot of you guys are new. There's at least 10,000 since the last time we covered that. Again, this has been almost 9 months. It has been 9 months since most of this fiasco has started, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And I'm going to prove that to you with evidence in just a bit. So,
Adam,
yes,
if you remember during that time period that you're talking about, a lot of people were getting those letters, right? Like giving them permission to be out or permission to be on the street should they be stopped. I recently heard from a postal person, friend of mine, that received one of those again.
And grocery stores. So our friend she organizes the what do you call it? The online pickup. So in the front of some stores, I don't know if you guys have them out there, but there's a frozen room where you see a bunch of bags, and basically it's bagged groceries that they come out and you park in certain spots, and now it's a service they offer. So you just pull up to the store, and they come out to your car and they load it in your car. It's pickup, right? She is the manager, the main manager of that, and she basically runs it by herself. So she gets all of the information coming in. There's tops of, a lot of different departments. If you know anybody that works at a grocery store, there's produce, there's seafood, there's, the bakery, all this. She has access to all of the memos because she ends up dealing with all of the departments. So I thought it was pretty crazy that she's getting the letter. They're talking about the passes. They're also talking about the kind of passport thing. They are also telling her that she's going to have to take a flight somewhere and basically be trained on something else. And I'm like thinking, what the hell are they doing here? They are setting up, in my opinion. Again, I believe that they are setting up and getting ready for a massive food kind of panic. Because if we go into like super lockdown again, they are expecting the same kind of response. One thing that I don't know, though, is after we've done this, after we've come out of the panic of it all, why are they expecting a panic like they are? Right? Why are they not just expecting, well, people kind of realized that they were being dumb by buying all this stuff? Or is this next lockdown going to be much, much more severe? That's one thing that I wonder, because it seems like that panic wore off even in lockdown, and everybody realized, like, if we don't, buy like this, then it will be fine. So why are the grocery stores preparing for that kind of thing? So
well, I have my own psychological part on it, Adam. Just from my family is we've started buying, but it wasn't because of CV. We're not thinking of it that way. We're thinking of, the big event that happens in November, right? And what may or may come of that. I think that is probably part of it. It's probably a big part of it, but I don't know how much.
No,
it is.
I think it might be a huge part of it, because if we don't end up going on to any kind of lockdown, why would they be preparing for a panic of grocery buying? and some of the outlet stores, some of the stores that sell flashlight and military gear and all this, they have seen a gigantic uptick. All of a sudden, everybody is going in and getting, obviously, bang bangs, all of this, but every single kind of ammo is now, it doesn't matter if it's an off-brand, if it's this or that, or a size that nobody ever uses. People are going out of their way to get anything that goes boom, boom. And I'm talking about the weirdest kind of, just the weapons that you just don't buy, the weird ones that are not efficient, not cool, the ones that people don't normally buy because they're dorky, or if they've got weird setups or whatever. So everything is going out right now. So why and what are we setting up for? Obviously, we've got this event in 2 weeks. It decides our fate for another 4 years. So people are, freaked out about it. So we'll go over that here in a minute. I'll show you a document here and a article about what we're talking about with the grocery stores. Stick around for that, because honestly, I think we might even have somebody be able to talk to us about this as well. All right. First off, though, I do want to remind people, I've been watching Dutch again. He's been talking a lot about the Northwest, but not only him. I just recently talked to another expert, and then you guys know I talked to Chris Goldfinger. Chris Goldfinger, the main seismologist, one of the main guys as far as Cascadia subduction zone. He has his own TED Talk. He was the person who was behind the New Yorker article, the really, really big one. That article is what made it mainstream. Nobody really knew about the Cascadia subduction zone before that. What it is it's almost a 700 mile fault line. It's a subduction zone. So this is basically something that goes from Vancouver in Canada all the way down to the beginning of California. And it is something that happens on average every 240 years. It's been 300. In fact, it's actually, yes. So, no, I'm sorry. It happens every 240 years, and it's been 320. So we are going on 2020. The last one was 1700. That's 320 years. We're 80 years overdue. So it's going to be massive. It's a 9.0. It's capable. It's how long it is. It judges how powerful it is. And it judges how long this earthquake is going to be. This is going to be a 5-minute plus earthquake, and it's going to be guaranteed to send a tsunami because of its placement out in the ocean. So we are talking about what FEMA actually said. Their quote in one of the most famous quotes is, "Everything west of I-5 will be toast." I-5 is our main corridor that goes from Seattle all the way down to California. Everything west of I-5 will be toast. Now, people said, oh, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. I think they are so badly under-exaggerating what is going to happen. It's insane. They have a death toll estimate of 15,000. That's how many people perished in Japan in their 9+ earthquake and tsunami. But they were one of the most prepared places in the world for earthquakes. All of their buildings and all of their skyscrapers were built to an 8.6 standard. They wrote checks long before that earthquake happened for their grandkids. They were proactive, not reactive. In fact, in their culture, if they're talking about taking care of their great-great-great-grandkids, it says, hey, this will help our great-grandkids. Okay, let's write a check. If you're talking about Seattle, Oregon, and California, we wait until the disaster happens and then go in and fix it. In fact, now, because of children actually doing fundraisers and making a big stink out of it, it got nationwide attention a couple years ago, and the local politicians actually said, okay, we're going to move all the schools. We're talking about moving all of the schools in the inundation zone. And they weren't going to do that only until a bunch of kids with common sense, I mean, we're talking about middle school kids saying, hey, we're going to die here if you guys don't do something. That got nationwide attention, and they said, okay, whoa, we'll do something, just be quiet. We are on a scale from 1 to 10, Chris Goldfinger says, not even to a 1 out of a 1 to 10, and we're still not there. They've been trying to retrofit, and I talked to somebody who actually knows about the retrofitting actions that they're taking. barely anything has been done so far. And a lot of things were put on hold because of the CV. So it is going to be massive. It's going to change the entire country. Some believe that the whole West Coast is going to be gone. And I do believe it's going to be gone as far as the buildings and possibly rebuilt, as far as everything being wiped out temporarily or at least damaged enough to where it won't be livable in most places on the West Coast. So that is my opinion. If you disagree, put it in the comments below. If you have criticisms, comments, whatever else, put them down in the comment section. I do read them. So this is an article that says, is Oregon ready for the big one? Out of Medford, Oregon. It says, when you think of natural disasters in Oregon, wildfires probably came to mind, but Oregon and the West Coast are also at risk of a major earthquake and tsunami, with much of the state sitting on an active fault zone. Living in western Oregon, we are at a small risk of an earthquake, but that earthquake would be very impactful because it would be a very powerful earthquake, said meteorologist Brad Schaff at the National Weather Service in Medford. It says the Great Oregon Shakeout Drill took place this morning as a part of a large national effort to bring awareness to earthquake preparation. In the Northwest, we sit along the Cascadia subduction zone, a 621-mile dipping fault that stretches from Vancouver Island to Eureka and separates the North American plate from the Juan de Fuca plate. So when you look at the United States and then you look at the North American plate and the Juan de Fuca plate, it's like this. And what's happening is it's basically jammed, and when it goes, it's going to snap. And above it, all of the water that was there is going to be displaced and pushed up. And some say we could have 100-foot waves. Most say anywhere from 30 to 60-foot waves coming straight in. And these are coming at something like 500 miles per hour, something crazy. We will only have 10 to 15 minutes to run to wherever we can. I have told you guys places like Ocean Shores are a little outlet, no protection whatsoever. There's one lane in and one lane out of this entire town. That 6,000 residents, which is bad enough. 6,000 residents, once they hear that tsunami sound, they have already accepted their fate that they will be goners. That's bad enough. But when you talk about if this happened on a summer day, in midsummer, they can have 500,000 people visiting and staying at hotels in this little tiny 6,000 resident town. It is going to be one of the most horrific things we have ever seen. Just that town could equate for the 15,000 they say is the death toll. Think about that. People go, oh, it's not that important because it's a small little part, right? Or it's only 6,000, whatever. This is a tourist town, and all year round it has more than 15,000. So if that town, basically only the first couple people at the very end right by that street are going to get out, then you're talking about 15,000 people, 10, 20, 30, 50, 500,000 are gone. That would be, once it happens, all of a sudden it's going to be the most important thing for the news for years. It's going to have, we're going to have vigils all over the world for what happens here. But yet, of course, it's not important until it happens. Nobody gives a crap unless it does happen. But once it does happen, then they're going to go back and they're going to look at all the mistakes, and a lot of politicians are going to basically retire. They're going to say, oh, I resign. I bet you we will expect hundreds of resignations from politicians all the way up the West Coast when this happens, because of how bad they have stunted this. The police in Ocean Shores didn't even know what to do in the case of the event of this thing. And we're expecting it in time. FEMA expects it now. They've done in the last 5 years 2 of the most massive drills that the United States has ever done. And still, we are not even close to prepared. It says the Juan de Fuca fault line is just offshore off the west coast from Seattle to Oregon. From the threat really lies in the fact that we don't know which part of that fault will have the earthquake, Schaff said. Oregon and the West Coast sit on an North American plate, but over the time, the Juan de Fuca plate continuously slides underneath the North American plate, and as it does so, it slips in the way, and slides cause earthquakes. The plate doesn't slip often, but when it does, it can be catastrophic. The worst possibility would be for the Juan de Fuca plate to have that major earthquake, and the effects would be felt all along the west coast from Seattle to California. Now remember, they will be felt 3,000 miles away. So somebody in New York will feel tremors from this earthquake. That is how massive this is. The entire country is going to shift 45 feet, or at least the North American plate. If I was standing here while this earthquake happened, I will be 45 feet across. To put that into perspective, a football field is 300 feet. So you're talking about 1/6 of a football. You would be football field. You would be standing somewhere else. Think about if you're at your front porch and without moving, after the earthquake, you're on the sidewalk of your lawn. That's how crazy this is going to be. It says, according to the USGS, the Northwest has seen earthquakes as a result of Cascadia subduction zone in the past and as recent as 2001, 1965, and 1949. However, the last time that the major earthquake like this happened occurred in 1700. Smaller earthquakes occur in 30 to 50 year intervals and are much deeper quakes, while the big one occurs closer to the surface every 300 to 600 years. That means we are at risk of a major earthquake in this century. It says it's not just the trembling and the structural damage from an earthquake that poses a threat to many Oregonians, but if such an event occurs, those along the coast are at a serious threat for a major tsunami that could flood cities like Brookings and Crescent City. So those are two other cities, by the way, that have people that visit them at all times. You're talking about these are little towns that are just going to be wiped off the map. It says these, in general, tsunamis can happen from time to time with both nearby and distant earthquakes, he said. That being said, a large earthquake like Cascadia could send a very large tsunami wave up the coast. In the event of a large Cascadian earthquake offshore, Schaff said that the sea level would drop 40 feet as a result of the shifting plate underneath. That would, in return, send a 40-foot wave straight into the Oregon coast. In the event of the earthquake, if you happen to be inside, it's important to be immediately drop to the floor and cover your head, crawl to a table or desk, and remain under the structure until the shaking is stopped. One thing I have to tell you is that if you have any chance of getting out within the 2 seconds, my personal thing is I will be trying to get outside, because after 5 minutes, your table, your whatever your house is going to be destroyed. In fact, the safest house would be just a normal wood-built house. Brick houses, I would jump out a third-story window. That's just my personal thought. I don't recommend that. But if it's a brick house, I don't want to be buried in brick as my funeral. It says, if along the coast and an earthquake occurs, seek shelter as soon as the shaking and tremoring has stopped. Immediately head to higher ground as fast as you can. Tsunami zone signs are located on all major roadways along the coast and in tsunami-prone areas. So this is just a friendly reminder. We have tons of movement, tons of weird shaking, tons of weird things going on, and weird animal behavior right now. So we should definitely have our heads on a swivel. This isn't to scare you. This is to prepare you, and I hope that if there are new people in the Northwest and they are now just watching us and you don't know what about this because they don't talk about it, this is going to be the worst disaster you've never heard of. This is something that should be talked about on a daily basis. This should be plastered as PSAs every single day. People should train their kids. People should drill this. People should have plans. If you are living in the entire West Coast, all three of the governments, Oregon, California, and Washington, all should have a mandatory drill for entire cities. Massive cities. Seattle, California, LA, all of them should have drills for this. But yet they don't. These little ocean towns, they have once a month a test of the tsunami siren. Some of these towns don't even have tsunami sirens. How is that for prepared? So I hope that this sinks in for some. Also, watch out for electricity. Watch out for anything else. We don't know if one of these could be caused by something else. Somebody could drop a very big boom at the bottom of the ocean and cause this, or help it. Which, by the way, we covered college professors talking and basically theoreticizing on how they could trigger the Cascadia or how an enemy could. And they said it's not only possible, it is a something that was on the table that they were asked about from our men in black. So just something to think about. And then, of course, Washington scientists study silent quakes to possibly track bigger earthquakes. A swarm of thousands of tiny earthquakes deep under western Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia started again. You won't feel these particular quakes because they are happening 40 to 60 miles deep, as it's believed that the lower slab of the oceanic Juan de Fuca plate becomes stretched and pliable as it's heated and melted back into the Earth's mantle. These have been called silent earthquakes, which have a deep tremor and a slow slip. Collectively, they move through and enough to slightly change the surface of the Earth near them. The tiny epicenters pop as the plates slide. They will last for weeks until the event is over. These silent quakes release the equivalent energy of a magnitude 6 earthquake, which is in the range of the Nisqually earthquake that occurred 20 years ago on the last day of February. The Nisqually earthquake was a magnitude 6.8. Scientists didn't even know these slowly evolving quakes existed 20 years ago. Maybe 2002, 2003 that we started realizing that these tremor events take place deep under western Washington, said University of Washington seismologist and professor Steve Malone. We reached out to Steve Malone. We never got a response from him. We, of course, did not get a response from at least 3 of the Washington State University of Washington experts on this, but we did try. So as far as this is a time frame for the next 3 weeks. I hope that everybody is alert and awake, and make sure that the first sign of shaking that they try to focus, try to calm down, try to think of your plan, because just like I showed you, if it wasn't for thinking prehand, I could not think at all when the earthquake happened just about a year ago. It happened, a smaller earthquake under our last place. It just dropped the whole floor. In fact, I was talking to mods on the phone while it happened, and my brain couldn't even think. Even though I've prepped and prepared for it, right when it happened and felt the ground from under my feet leave under me. And this was a little tiny 4 magnitude, just a second, just boom, I couldn't even think. So imagine if it is such a massive quake that your entire house is shaking and within 10 seconds you see your walls falling off. That's the kind of earthquake this will be. 21 states are preparing for people to be walking from California, Oregon, and Washington. Nevada has an actual plan for them to be coming in by foot. So who knows what's going on there? Watch out. Asteroid the size of Big Ben approaching Earth. What's funny is I think I've actually shown you almost the exact same title of an article, because they have used Big Ben several times. They always have a size, of course, to make it more relatable. So an asteroid the size of Big Ben. In fact, I think we've had this exact comparison. It's always the size of a megalodon shark, or the size of the Eiffel Tower, the size of the Space Needle. They always have to give that to you for the comparison. But what's crazy is because these are so often now, it is absolutely nuts that we cover these almost daily. And it seems to me that they have, of course, have tracked 95%, or they say they have tracked 95% of near-Earth objects. It seems to me like they would have already tracked the one that's going to hit us. And maybe that's why they are spending billions of dollars on all of these different programs to figure out how to make them not hit us. Maybe it's why they're doing simulation drills in New York of evacuating the whole city, because they're going to get hit with a asteroid. Maybe it's why they're doing Bennu and OSIRIS-REx and all of these different asteroid missions. And of course, before 3 years ago, Elon Musk was doing tons of interviews, and they were talking about it, and they said, hey, the U.S. government said that they were going to come to you with your SpaceX, and they were going to talk about defense against asteroids. Fast forward 3 years, and just a few weeks ago, we actually covered here that they were making the Spacelink, or the Starlink that we all think of as, oh, they're making internet for the entire world. Oh yeah, and it's also going to be used to detect incoming objects. Now, how they said it in the context, they said that they were using it to spot hypersonic missiles, that it could be used for that mission as well. But some believe that they are actually using it as well to track incoming objects that we do not catch, or these asteroids that we don't know about, that we don't see until last second. It would make a lot more sense. And if it can track something, even if it's last minute, and then we have a hypersonic missile, which, by the way, has anyone ever thought why Russia, China, and U.S. are all developing these hypersonic missiles at the same exact time, right when they started the Space Force, this, all that, right before that? Everybody started on the HAMMER mission. HAMMER, Hypervelocity Asteroid Mitigation and Emergency Response Vehicle. It's a nuke on a rocket that goes and it hits and it tries to deflect a thing. I was covering this before my channel ever had 1,000 subscribers. I was doing videos on this because, one, it's fascinating, and two, all at the same time, you had Russia, China, and U.S. coming up with ways to deflect asteroids. So what are they doing? Do you think that they actually, that hypersonic missiles were a solution to something that's coming in so fast that we need something faster to catch it? By the way, Dex, how fast? I'm pretty sure that asteroids come in at about 20,000 miles per hour. How fast is Mach 8? If we're talking about 8 times the speed of sound, what is the speed of sound? 700, 800 miles or something? Do you know, Dex?
Well, the speed, 8 times the speed of sound would be like 6,138 miles per hour. So that's still a fraction of how fast some of these asteroids. I know some of them have been clocked at like 40,000. But yeah, I think the 25,000 range is typical.
So I just wonder if they all needed something so fast to respond to something so fast. Obviously, now the secondary thing is we could attack each other with this in 12 minutes. Russia could attack the U.S. So I think there's something up here. It was specifically that Elon Musk was talking about planetary defense. And now they're all trying to get to Mars and the moon and all of this. They're forming Asgardia. All of these big CEOs have left their posts. Everybody's buying property in New Zealand and in Greenland. It just seems kind of weird to me. And then now they're coming up and now they're telling us publicly, oh yeah, by the way, Starlink is actually going to use, it's going to be a grid around the entire planet, and it's going to be used to track objects, incoming objects. And then China coming up with laser technology and other technology, a false moon, a false sun. Why would we need a false moon and a false sun? That's pretty weird. Maybe because it's not for Earth. Maybe it's for the moon. Think about it. And then they land on the far side of the moon. Are they setting up their China? And the U.S. set up here and Russia sets up here. And we split the moon into 3 pieces. Just a thought. Maybe they are setting up a planet there, and they'll have their false moon and their false sun rotate around the moon after the Earth is all screwed up. Just a thought. So it says at the end of the 20th century, NASA launched the Near-Earth Object Program, another one that was launched that, of course, aimed at finding and tracking the movement of celestial objects whose orbits could bring them into close proximity to our planet. The space agency has so far found an estimated 25,000 NEOs to date. Ladies and gentlemen, don't get too comfortable because 2020 isn't done with us yet. An asteroid as big as Big Ben will whiz past the Earth next week, the Daily Star reported, citing NASA. According to the space agency, the celestial body called 2020 TGI is traveling towards our planet at an enormous speed of 8.5 miles per second, 13.6 kilometers per hour. And it says NASA says that the asteroid could be anywhere from 43 to 100 meters wide. So you're talking about a football field wide, and is the biggest celestial body to swoosh past our planet. Oh, another thing I want you to think about is how many of these are labeled 2020? That means they were discovered now. How many in just the last 6 months have been discovered 2020 And almost all of them are like, oh yeah, by the way, we just discovered this 5 days ago and now it's whizzing by. We just discovered it last month. We just discovered it in February. How are all of these discovered in 2020? When 3 years ago I covered articles saying, oh yeah, we've tracked 95% of all the near Earth objects. Maybe they were taking a break or something. Maybe they were on vacation. Don't know. And then we have our first interstellar visitor, which was Oumuamua. And then we had the second one. Remind you, Oumuamua actually came in sped up, which that doesn't happen. It was cigar-shaped, and it came in, it whipped around Earth, which is a weird trajectory if you look at it. And then after it went by Earth, it sped up. What does that? And it wasn't in the right place either. It wasn't like it was a slingshot. It actually waited until after it would be slingshot and then sped up. But they said, oh, it's an interstellar, so, we don't know. It could be made of something different that somebody said that it could have gas explosions that would fuel it like a rocket. Or it could be a rocket that fueled it like a rocket. Don't know. But I think it's pretty weird. Anyways, what do you guys think about this? I'm going to go over to the chat. If you guys want to protect yourself against one of the biggest threats to the United States right now, I would highly recommend looking into an EMP shield. We've been working with these guys for over a year. Again, these guys are legit. In fact, they are now so busy because of all of their government contracts. They've worked with DHS, DOD. When we first started working with them, that was before all of that. In fact, we were worried they weren't going to be selling these to consumers anymore. But just so you know, the owner said, I will never stop selling to consumers. He, in fact, has a mission. He believes every single person in the world should have one of these. Again, it protects against all three phases, E1, E2, and E3 EMPs. That's all the phases. It's a veteran-owned business. It's American-made. It's Keystone military-tested and military-used. And they are now on the DEMSO team officially helping protect the Texas grid. So this is one of the most legit products you can possibly get and the best protection. Again, if you're new here, this can actually go, there's models for your car, for your generator, for your solar system, for your boat, for your ham radio, most importantly, your home if you decide to bug in. But if you decide to bug out, what good is it if you can't go anywhere? Also, the Rezvani tank, that's also made by, that's also a product that they actually use in EMP Shield. So again, you can go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. You not only get a discount off of normal price, but you will also be helping us. We will get a commission off of it as well, and it will help our show. So thank you guys for everyone who has already done it, and we appreciate your support. All right, let's go over to the chat, and then we're going to talk about China warning U.S. it may detain Americans in response to prosecutions of Chinese scholars. First off, I see right away Mr. Smarty has Mr. Samarty. Thank you for following. As always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. Derek Merchekawa or Chuka. Thank you so much for following, and I apologize if I ruined your name there. Jay Daleks, I had a dream watching the news night of the election. Maps behind the news anchors was all red, and then the lights went out. Okay, that's crazy creepy, Jay Daleks, I think. Louisiana Skywatch says, be safe and hug your family every day. I agree with that, Louisiana. Sir Budrick, glad you're on YouTube. Somehow D-Live muted me for saying P-anon. Is P-a-nonsense? I think you mean the other one. Thank you for saying that, though, for watching that. 2 days ago, can't say QUE here either. Blanked my last super chat. Sir Budrick, there's a reason for that, and you probably already know what that is. So, again, I think that we are trying to give it a few days to see what the hell is going on here, but nobody's going to be safe here in the coming 2 weeks, I would say. I have a feeling that a lot of those people will get them back after November. That's just my thought. It's happened before. It's happened to some of my friends. We're actually talking all behind the scenes and trying to, we want to. There's a lot of good people that got affected. That it was like a blanket thing, and it seems like it was targeted because there was still people on there that do that stuff. So it seemed like they already had them picked. A lot of Chinese boats on the water, over 300 fishing by Chile. Weird. So that was Bellin Poor said a lot of Chinese boats on the water, over 300 fishing by Chile. Huh. Robert Tauteris says, y'all help to keep our fam safe. God bless you. Thank you, Robert Tauteris. And then Christian Moore says, what up, my family I've never met? I've seen The Purge. We must fight the good fight. God bless. Never stop. Watch out for each other. What up, Dex? That was, again, Christian Moore saying, what's up, Dex? Sir Budrick, thank you so much for your support. Teresa, this is the best show I have found for accurate information about what is coming. Thank you for what you do. Thank you, Teresa. We really do appreciate that. We put a lot of work into it. And then Survival Living, AK CFP, says, let's get this party started with the first bang. Much love, Foogle fam. Well, thank you for starting that. Again, you are awesome. And if you guys haven't checked out Survival Living, great man, very, very smart. Amy Z, thank you so much for following and for super chatting. Jerry Letterly, thank you for following as well. Julie Harris, RE55. By the way, I did shout you out the other day, and I don't even think you were here because you did it offline. I think you went to Streamlabs, which nobody does, and donated, I think it was $5 to Streamlabs. So thank you, Ari. I don't even know how you found that link, but that actually goes directly to us, so I saw that. So thank you. And then let's see here. One Drummer Guy, thank you so much for your support. You can always write something. Same for Regina Martin. Both of you guys are awesome. Thank you. Derek Merchurka, thank you again. Dustin Westphalen, just watch Impact on TV today. A lot in common about what you're saying. Impact, is that, which one is that? Or Deep Impact, I'm assuming. John J., keep shoes by your bed for broken glass and pray. That, John J., that's actually a really great idea. I always keep my slippers right outside my bed, so... but again, if there was a big blast that would knock out all your windows, that's something to think about. If you get cut right off the bat on your feet, think about how that would affect you for traveling if you had to walk. Keith and Queen Brat, hello, Adam, Dex, Foogle fam, watching live from home on the big screen. Well, the Queen Brat makes homemade jerky to add to our prepper stockpile. GBY, thank you so much, Keith and Queen Brat. You guys are awesome. I love how you guys always say hi to each other when he's working or you're working. That's pretty sweet. Let's see here. Speaking of sweet, we've got some freaking sweet sources that we will most likely have call in on the next call in. Again, there's some pretty awesome stuff here. No Fear in Jesus, says Jamie Turnage. Mystery Osha, thank you for being here. Lion's Heart, American Patriot Party, thank you guys all for being over there on DLive. And then let's see here. Seems like DLive was having some activity feed issues there, so I will get into that. Gem, thank you. Green Bay Lady, Desert Granny, thank you. Edgy Whalen and Dixie Doe, Tall Drink of Water, Jen Lay Awake, PMC 2020, Maui Racing Realtor, thank you guys for the lemons, and thank you for all the people that are doing subs for the Marfia badges. Green Bay Lady, again, thank you and welcome to the fam. All right, so I wanted to go into this. China won.
Adam, I'm sorry. Did
yes.
you see the jet?
No, who is it?
Okay, Machina Opus.
Oh my gosh, hold on. Let me open up my phone. Thank you.
It'll show you, or I can read it.
Can you please? That would be great. I
Absolutely. So Machina Opus. Hi, Marf and Dex. Thanks for everything you do for beer and pretzels. That's awesome.
Well, Dex, you can drink a beer for me. It's been about 7 years now, or about
you can have the pretzels.
6.5 years. Let's see here. Thank you so much. It looks like we have over 3,000 watching over on DLive, and that is very, very rare. I apologize. The feed wasn't showing. Australian Patriot, awesome. And again, Machina Opus, thank you for your massive support of the channel. You have no idea. You are now part of, I believe, under 10 still. Thank you so much that I've ever done a Ninjet on DLive. That is the biggest support you can do on DLive. So thank you so much. And then tossed air. We can get through with this with prep, love, and faith. By the way, a lot of you guys have done some amazing, amazing comments on here that you end up being a part of the show. So thank you so much. One more mom. You are awesome. Love you guys. Thank you for the people that follow through to whoever we host and just show love. I usually gift out subs and things for other channels when you guys do that. So thanks for following. All right, China warns U.S. it may detain Americans in response to prosecutions of Chinese scholars. Dex, I would love to get your opinion on this. And Priscilla, thank you for being so good at what you do. Thank you. Dex,
well, the first thing that came to mind was, do you remember when we tried to extradite, or we actually probably did extradite the Huawei employee out of Canada? That was maybe a year or two ago. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that sort of was the start, right? And I think since then we've seen we have a person
the
that
consulate
we picked up out of the consulate that said they were, they were just a professor or something, but they actually were military background. So I think we've got a lot of these prosecutions that are happening here, and obviously China is not happy with that. And with the tensions the way they are, they're using this as a yet another tool in the conflict chest, so to speak. And I'll be worried when we start to see an exodus of any Americans out of China. That's always a good, not a good, but it's always a strong signal is when we start to see exoduses like that.
Well, luckily enough, we have a friend who is a live streamer and knows how to VPN her way out of China. She was in Guangzhou. I butchered that horribly. But it was basically the city, when the CV started, it was the third worst cases in the entire world. It was the third place to have it. It was one of the places where they had one of these get-together dinners, not the main big one that we heard about after the virus was already announced. They were like, hey, let's have a community dinner of 20,000 people. But they had a big one there, and she was a D-Live streamer who ended up getting support from her entire audience to get out of there. She couldn't work. She couldn't do all this stuff because of the lockdown, and she was stuck. And she was live streaming, and you could see she actually had people getting pulled out of the apartment complex across the street from her and lined up against the wall. It was extremely scary. So people ended up helping her get a plane ticket, a train. It was like a cab to a train to a plane to get to South Africa. Yes, South Africa. Yeah. I was thinking South America. I'm like, no, she's from South Africa. And then right when she got there, they went on lockdown. It was like the worst thing ever. Now that everything was cleared up, apparently she's going back to China because she has to work. And the line of work that she does is in China. So now she's going to know how to get information out. We're going to actually have somebody in China that's going to be in the city and, close there. So I want to have her come on and do some reports from China and what's going on there. Because I think we will see from their media side, I would love to see what they're telling them. We don't truly get it. We can't just type in ChineseNews.com. We can look at Global Times, but we can't look at what their local news and what WhatsApp not WhatsApp. Dex, what is theirs called? It's called
WeChat.
WeChat is actually supposedly banned here now, right? You can't even get WeChat here anymore.
Well, it's always been blocked in a way. It was supposed to be banned if they didn't lock it down.
But so is TikTok, and people are still scrolling this stupid. So it says China started issuing the warning this summer after the U.S. began arresting a series of Chinese scientists who were visiting American universities to conduct research and charged them with concealing from U.S. immigration authorities their active duty statuses with the PLA. Basically, these people were soldiers and spies, and they were not declaring it. They weren't saying it out loud. At the very same time, when they were questioned, they actually went out of their way to lie. So it was a big deal. That consulate that got stormed in, what was it, Houston? the Houston consulate got shut down, that was a very telling thing in itself. That was like, a lot of us thought that war was going to pop off then. So we'll see. It says the arrests were the subject of a Wall Street Journal article that also reported U.S. allegations that Chinese diplomats were coordinating activities with the researchers and described that as a factor in ordering China to close its Houston consulate in July and remove the remaining military scientists from the country. It says Chinese authorities have, on occasion, detained foreign nationals in moves seen by their governments as baseless, or in some instances as diplomatic retaliation, a tit-for-tat scenario, which I've talked about a million times, a tactic that many Washington policy circles have referred to as hostage diplomacy. China has denied U.S. citizens permission to exit from the country and arrested, charged, and sentenced Canadian, Australian, and Swedish citizens on what officials from those governments have said are bogus allegations. How many of you actually believe that they don't do as much bad as they say they do? One thing that I think about, though, too, is are we all having red in our eyes for China because they want us to support a conflict with them? There's many people that say, oh, we'll never go to conflict with them. And those same people say, oh, because we'll annihilate them. Well, if you're seeing the actual DoD reports on this, then you will see that they actually think that they will surpass us in size in just the next year to 2 years. So from the actual documents that are out there, it looks like we could probably take them out before they get to that point. What if we do crush them in a matter of weeks? That's one thing to think about. We're talking about actually crushing the Chinese country, if that would be possible. Dex, what do you think about that? Do you think what if we did realize that in the next, say, 2 years, that they were going to be so powerful that we had no chance? What do you think we would do? Kind of like with Gaddafi and all these other people, Saddam. If anybody threatens our dollar,
this is a much different type of threat. I mean, the size and how we would have to deal with it would not be what we would have traditionally seen in other countries. And this threat is actually well entrenched into our own country, in our day-to-day lives, in real estate, in finance, and all sorts of things. So it's a much different challenge, and I think that's what gets it. But then, the interesting thing is, you just said, or, in this article, it was saying, oh, these other countries said these people, it was bogus charges. But I would say that every country is going to say that about their people. We would say it about our people when they're arrested anywhere in the world. We always stand up for them and say it's bogus, or at least find a way, to hold a position where we can try to get them released, right?
Or apologize, right? Or apologize for our citizens' actions, or they always make a public statement. Like, if it was in general a really bad thing, then that we have to kind of pander to their leader and say, "Hey, sorry, our person did this." They end up working out something in the background. But in this case, of course, they would deny it, and they would say, especially if it's a government agent or a government consulate or something like this,
anything related to espionage, they're going to be like, "Oh no, that's bogus."
Oh, yeah. Anything spy related. Yeah, definitely. What do you guys think about this? I'm going to go over to the chat real quick to see what you guys think. Do you think that this plays a bigger part in it, as far as, do you think that there's something bigger going on with China? And do you think that this is just something to kind of, that tells the public, hey, there's more going on behind?
And Adam, while you're getting that from chat, the other point in this article that I thought was interesting is that in September, there was a travel advisory that was given out that was recommending that Americans avoid China. And of course, obvious reasons were probably, you would think, with CV, but I think there's more to this story, which is what we're reading into now, right? Like, avoid going to that country for reasons of, you don't want to be detained if conflicts are, ramping up. You don't want to be going in.
I think it's pretty obvious why they're telling people not to go there. Also, something that is not widely known, but Russia has been calling people back, experts, professors, people in the collegiate world. They're saying, come back to the homeland. They did this a couple times in the last 5 years, and it was when we came close to, considered close to an escalation, right? When we were in proxies in the Middle East, there was a couple times where we accidentally hit them, they accidentally hit us, and then they said, hey, bring your people back. That is happening right now. Not only that, Russia separated its internet completely, which we covered the very beginning of it. Them basically saying, hey, we're probably going to think about this. We're going to think about cutting off our internet from the rest of the world and making an intranet. And then all of a sudden, within a couple weeks, it was 2 weeks, they were like, oh, we passed a bill. And then it was like maybe 2 months later, me and Dex are sitting there and we go, holy crap, they did it. They go, oh, by the way, we have our whole thing. So they changed their entire grid, their entire infrastructure, and made an intranet in just a few months. What does that tell you? It tells me that on the horizon, they saw the entire internet going down, getting hacked, or being a part of something big. Now all of the countries are having their own intranet. It's not even a www. It's not a World Wide Web anymore. It's a regionalized country web. And each country gets to pick what they gets to censor. So, pretty scary stuff. Freedom Poor says China has something close to genocide going on. And what if we knew that and said, hey, we got to do something about it? What are we going to do? Bob Dobbs, love your name. Always, every time I see it. Thank you for the happy emoji. You are smooth as Tennessee whiskey. Louis Price. I don't know if I hope there's a Tennessee whiskey in the chat. Let's see. Let's see here. By the time we hear about it, it's already done. Yeah. Lovin' SC. Yes, that's true. Twinkie D. I'll be right back. I'm getting off the internet. That's what Russia said. Deer jerky tastes better. I don't know what that was about, but awesome comment. China's expansionism is a clear indication of coming conflict, and they are running low on natural resources, which is also cause for conflict. China is committing genocide. Well, think about this. If you do believe some of the stuff that's been said from facts-based, we are, according to some, we are running out of food. What about that, Dex? Have you heard some of the stuff about as far as the world's food resources? If we truly run out, like some of the stuff from Ice Age Farmer and others, what do you think about that as far as us in general in the next 10, 20 years completely running out of natural resources?
Well, I think there's possibilities to have shortages before then. I mean, we've talked about it here, just looking at some of the things that have happened, the floodings, not only the floodings here, but even the floodings in China and other places that have caused, a constraint on the food supply that doesn't happen immediately. It's not like that happens and then all of a sudden the next day you don't have food. It's a ripple effect, and then you'll feel it 6 months into the chain or a year into the supply chain, and how that ripple effect happens. So, I totally understand the concept of, how population growth, how food management is a challenge, and, why a lot of these corporations try to find these other strategies for food. That's definitely part of the equation, but there's even short-term things that I think we have to sort of keep our eye on. And it's not something that the general public or any of us really understand, how that supply chain works and how what the time horizon is on just a simple event like a flood that can wipe out an entire year's worth of crops. And what does that mean? Well,
and China had such an unbelievable, unprecedented flood that knocked out, somebody was saying 95% of their wheat or whatever their main stockpile is. You guys can correct me in the chat. In fact, if you would put that there, I'll read that. What got knocked out in China? Dex, you might know too. You can chime in. It was 90% of something was knocked out. Obviously, that's a big deal if it's in the.
Didn't it affect their soybeans too? Wasn't that part of it?
So I mean, we've covered it all.
Because I know that they've bought a lot from us, and they also established a relationship with Russia to procure that too. Obviously, meaning that they needed it. I don't know how much they actually grow there, but I would imagine with that much land, they probably do.
What's really crazy, and when you think of China and soy, and you think, oh, I thought it came from there, and maybe that's just really dumb, but apparently we actually export most of their soy to them. So they depend on us for that, which I thought was really crazy. Priscilla, thank you so much again. Talk with Tiffany, thank you, says keep getting the information out there. What he's talking about with Russia is Russia actually had all this land. I want to say it was Siberia, but it was like not part it was actually farming land. And I believe it was, Siberia, I think of frozen tundra, but there were areas of farmland that they were saying that they would give for free to China if China only used it for farming. So if you use it for farming, you can have it. I don't know why that would be a good deal for Russia, but it sounds like that China then said, okay, well, we'll actually grow all the stuff that the United States is growing on that plot of land. So we'll be more dependent on your land, for our stuff than USA. And when that happened, that was right around the same time Theresa May, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when they announced that they were not putting any more money into tea or ism, and they were going to be putting that back into Russia and China. And now, look at it, fast forward, they've basically cut us out of the loop. They're trying to get all kind of dependency off of the U.S. They don't want to depend on us for anything. Which they've moved steps forward. And at the same time, they're building the Spratly Islands. They've turned them into a forward operating base. I mean, you can't really get much more clearer than this. And they're talking about taking out Taiwan. They have whole practices. Now we have satellite photos of them. They have built a full-on replica of the Taiwan capital. So they are drilling and preparing over and over again how to take Taiwan down. So if we know that Taiwan, if they do take it over, that we will be involved, then it's almost like us saying we know we're going to be in a huge conflict with them. Or will we say, okay, Taiwan, you're theirs. We're not going to start a conflict with China over your country. It's not our business, right? But we're supposed to come to the aid of countries that, or at least most people think that we would step in that case, right? Whereas some would say that's not our business, so let them deal with it. They have a dispute, let them handle it. And it would be crazy if they did, but I don't think that would happen if T-Man was in office. I think that he would take it upon himself it would be like a pride thing or something, and he would take it back and get us involved. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear your opinion. Unicorn Forest, thank you, Jumpmaster. Gene Blythe, haven't seen you in a while. Thank you so much for stopping by. Still working on working on the book. Easy Winded, lots of love. Gingy Snap just followed. New followers, tons of new followers actually. Anita Torres, it's nice to see you here again. Joshman 1086, thank you for following as well. Tons and tons of followers over the last few days. Thank you guys. I don't know if people are sharing it out, but thank you. And then if you can, while you're at it right now, please press that like button. If we can get this video to 4,000 likes, we see that it succeeds way better and we get new people in, and that helps a lot. And then if you see our YouTube stories, do the same. If you like the YouTube stories, like it. That actually brings us a lot of new subscribers. Those little 15-second clips down there, I've been trying to do a lot more of them. And try to put some important stuff that, comes quick and we don't get on the show. All right, let's see here. This is pretty crazy. So, crime lord forms new cartel with, quote, thousands of troops to take down El Chapo's sons. A feared crime lord has assembled his troops and is preparing to wage conflict against El Chapo's sons, which this already sounds like it's going to be a horrible thing for anywhere that is involved, anywhere where these guys run their games. You're talking about beheadings, all sorts of stuff. Rafael Caro Quintero is wanted by the FBI for ordering a notorious murder of Special Agent Enrique Camarena in 1985. Former leader of the now defunct Guadalajara cartel, Quintero was released 28 years into a 40-year prison sentence on a technicality. Wow, really? And by the way, you know what's crazy to me is that people, they know since 1985 that this guy took this guy out, and they haven't been able to get him soon. That seems to me like somebody's being paid off. We can take out, so first of all, we can take out Osama, supposedly, but we can't take out this guy. It's BS. One thing you got to know, and if you actually do talk to anybody, or if you've ever met somebody who has either known mafia or cartel or any of the Mexican cartels, they pay cops a whole lot. Part of their funds go to cops straight up. But not only that, there is a lot of evidence to say that FBI, CIA, all these things are in charge of cartels, or they work with them. Say if the United States wants somebody taken out, they'll actually, or any country really, there's a lot of other countries that I believe use the cartel as kind of militia. Dex, do you agree with that or disagree with that? Do you think that the cartel does any work for governments? Like politicians, oh, hey, make this quietly go away? That kind of thing?
Well, I'm sure anything is possible, but I think, the one thing that has been obvious and has even been featured in Hollywood films, true story Hollywood films, is all the money running and drug running from the South up into America for funding of off paper projects, right?
Yeah, exactly. Stuff that doesn't exactly get wrote down. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on just right now. Especially, remember at CV at the beginning of the start, we were doing the task force meetings every day. T-Man and Dr. F were getting up on the stage. They were all doing their thing. And then one day they were like, oh yeah, by the way, during CV, we're going to send half of our Navy down to go take care of the cartel. It's kind of weird stuff going on. Something is going on. I think the cartels are being used by something. And then look at this, thousands of troops. Sounds like somebody's hiring them. Somebody's using these to do their bidding, and who knows what's actually going on. But I do know that, if they have a certain amount of money, then they just don't get caught somehow. Drink the Coffee Black, thank you for resubbing for 1 month and is now on a 2-month streak. That is really awesome. I think you are now in the club of multiple month streaks. Stoplight Gem, KCH3, Priscilla, thank you again. Lady Green Eyes, appreciate all you guys. Drink the Coffee Black. Much love to all Foogle fams. Thanks for the diamond. And Alicia D. What do you guys think of El Chapo in general? We caught El Chapo. Now his son is going to be waging war. And then back to the weird man, the Neuralink Buzz Creek Buzz guy. Elon Musk says SpaceX first Starship trip to Mars could fly in 4 years. Well, where would that put that? In 2024? Some, I even get emails say that it's 2024 because they're going to be leaving Earth on 2024 because in 2025 to 2027, Apophis or something is going to hit, or 2029 maybe. But they're trying to get off of the Earth. One thing that I do know is all of a sudden a couple years ago they said by 2024. Everybody was talking about 2024. Why though? Why is there a sudden kind of push for all this space stuff? It came out of nowhere. Of course, our last president, they even cut funding to NASA like almost completely. We weren't going to do any more launches. In fact, we were having our astronauts go up with Russian Soyuz rockets, and I believe they still do. Why all of a sudden did we open up this private sector? Why were these people building rockets in the first place? Why were these massive elites, the richest people in the world, saying we've got to make rockets and go to the moon and go to Mars? Why were we trying to terraform Mars for gosh sakes? What is going on here? It says SpaceX is almost ready to start building a permanent human settlement on Mars with its massive Starship rocket. The private spaceflight company is on track to launch its first uncrewed mission to Mars in as little as 4 years from now. SpaceX founder and CEO Elon Musk said on Friday at the International Mars Society Convention. Wow, they already made a convention. It says, I think we have a fighting chance of making that second Mars transfer window, Musk said in a discussion with Mars Society founder Robert Zubrin. It says, the window Musk referred to is a launch opportunity that arises every 26 months for a mission to Mars. NASA, China, and the United States Arab Emirates all launched missions to Mars in July of this year. The next window opens in 2022, with Musk referring to the 2024 Mars launch opportunity. Isn't that freaking crazy? It says the mission will launch to the Red Planet on a SpaceX Starship vehicle, a reusable rocket and spacecraft combo that is currently under development at the company's South Texas facility. SpaceX is also planning to use Starship for missions to the moon starting in 2022, as well as point-to-point trips around the Earth. So one thing that T-Man said in his speech today, that he said he basically quoted, if he is president, he will absolutely 100% make the first woman on the moon. So she'll come out and she'll say, this is one giant step for women, one bigger step for womankind. I guarantee you that's going to be what's said, because, it's the other side. Grace for you too. Hi, Foogle fam. Pray up and prep up. Absolutely. I hope you guys really do. I hope you don't think, I hope you guys, we have fun here, but I hope you guys really do realize that. All right. Thank you. And then let's go to this. What do you think about Elon Musk trying to get there by 2024? I'd love to hear your theory on it. In fact, this is one of the most interesting ones that I want your guys' theory on. How many of you believe that there is an actual time or date that we need to get off of Earth by, or that we are trying to get off of Earth? Baldylocks Awake, I'd love to hear your answer there. Says, they know something is coming and not telling us is criminal. But what about this? What if they don't want to cause panic? Just like in the movie Greenland, which if you haven't seen yet, is coming out on demand. Just like in that movie, they wouldn't tell us because it would cause panic. It would cause a ruckus. It would cause looting. I mean, right now we already have that, so they might as well. That's one thing to think about. Dex, think about it. If they were going to tell about us apocalypse, why wouldn't they just tell us now, since there's already looting in every street?
Well, maybe that's maybe they're letting us ease into it.
Yeah, they're going slow because it's our first time. Either way. Dex, if you could explain Nord real quick, I would love for you to actually do this since you're a tech expert.
Absolutely, Adam. So virtual private network, something that everyone needs in their tool chest of protection on your computer, especially during these times of CV and the heightened activity of cyber criminals. With a VPN, it will actually take your computer and place it someplace else on the internet, so that when somebody does try to attack it, they're not coming into your home or your place of business. They end up going into Nord, and Nord doesn't let them through. It's a very simple product. It's very easy to use. You put it on your computer, you put it on your phone, you turn it on and off like a light switch. I always say it was so easy. My mom can use it, and she does. So it's real simple. NordVPN. You can go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. They got a special discount if you buy. They got different levels of discounts specifically for the Foogle fam, and it does help the channel. But very, very easy to use, and something everyone should be using. And you can even do things like get content that's not available to you in your country. So if you log into Germany, you might be able to get content that's different on your streaming service that's not available. So if you're trying to get around those, VPNs can help you do that. And as we saw with, I think it was Megan's blog or whoever was in China, they were using a VPN to get out and get beyond the walls, the Great Walls that they put up on the internet. So having
the
that
Great Walls of China
is also a tool. Yeah. Having that is also a great tool for you to have in your toolkit in case something like that does come down on us.
And it acts as an ad blocker as well, so you don't get the pesky ads. You'll only get the ads that we show you. Mel San, thank you for following, and thank you, Dex. Honestly, you actually just taught me one more thing I didn't know, but anyways, I just turned it on and I turned it off. It's so easy, Marf can use it. Callie Hill, thank you so much for the massive support, but always try to write something. You can always write a message, say hi, write a soliloquy, write a poem. I like being able to, I actually have gotten to know people. Again, you can do it with as little as a $2 one, I believe. It surprises me they won't let you write something with a $1 one, but that's never made sense to me. But I kind of get it. The more you end up donating, the bigger message you can put. It makes sense. Same kind of thing over on DLive as well. The the bigger it is, the bigger message you can put. I usually donate Ninja Guineas just so I can write a full message in there. It says, Don't Run. Don't Run does a super chat and says, there is a conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan, with Turkey sending terrorists from Syria to fight alongside Azerbaijan. Armenia is the first Christian nation in 301 AD. Possibility to spark the big one, the big conflict. Don't Run. I'm going to talk to Israeli News Live and have him kind of talk about some more of that. He knows a lot more about the Middle East than I do. I am constantly trying to learn and understand it, because really I feel like you need somebody who's almost college educated to understand the complexity of the Middle East. That's why I don't claim to know everything. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I do have a lot of good friends. So that's always, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Two old people on a couch says, I think they will take social media down for the week before the vote. It says, just my gut feeling. I worry about power also. Be prepared. Thanks, Adam and Dex. Well, imagine that if they actually took the entire power down, like a power grid down situation. That would be really freaking scary. Mel Sand, thank you for following. Eric M, thank you for following as well. Lots of new people. I've never seen this many in one show. Chad, the other guy, thank you for following. Joe Mannery, thank you. If I messed up your name, I apologize. Grazy99. Timothy Sela, thank you. Tam Lukey, thank you. I think I said that right. Janine Kulata, thank you. Jules B, thank you for the support. Always try to write something there. S. Nort, I appreciate you. Says, you're my favorite, fam. I hope we are. Thank you. That's again another thing that people are going, gone girl, what the Gone girl 777. Sorry, Gone Girl just like dropped in. She says, guys, I'm at a biker party with one sexy biker. I will seriously catch the replay. He's 37. I'm 60. Oh, just call me a cougar tonight. LOL. I have a dance waiting. Woot woot. Love you all. Oh my gosh. And Gone Girl, you don't have to do that much. But again, Gone Girl, thank you so much for the massive support. And I hope it works out. I hope it works out good. Gone Girl, you deserve it. You are such an amazing woman. And honestly, I bet you could outride him anyways. She rides a badass bike, and she's a great supporter to the channel. Thank you guys. Thank you, Gone Girl. Seriously, inside and outside of the show, you are amazing. Stormy Weather, thank you. Blessings all. Thank you so much. And then Latrice Reed, thank you for all following. All right, grocery stores. Okay, so like I said, I don't know if this is just something because the coming November 4th day, but everybody's getting the memos. Everybody's getting the memos, and then it doesn't take a genius. You will see all over the world they are locking down again. We called it, even a month ago, right after the last one ended too. We all called it. Every one of the Foogle family, you guys knew it too. It's not like it's not like you need a crystal ball to see this. The first one, they were practicing. Like this is coming back down the line. They're going to lock down the entire country, and that's crazy because it doesn't seem like it needs to be. Grocery stores prepare for a second wave of pandemic panic shopping. Now, by the way, some think that this is not for this at all. That it's actually because they don't know. They're preparing for them to actually, shop because they think it's the end of the world if somebody doesn't get through or somebody does get through. When the CV first struck, grocery retailers across the nation were scrambling to restock shelves as consumers panic shopped for canned good, flour, yeast, and most curiously, toilet paper. Now, with the second wave of CV looming and fear over potential unrest around the president election, consumers are aggressively stocking up on various foods, and grocers are struggling to keep up with the demand. As of now, what we are seeing is the start of the second wave of panic, said Chris Menser, the director of operations of Restilly Market Fresh in New Jersey. Quote, our customers keep telling us how they are looking for any type of freezer to purchase so they can start stocking up their homes right now. Their main concern is meat. He explained that customers are mainly looking to buy and freeze beef and poultry, ground beef, steaks, roasts, and all varieties of chicken. One thing they're not thinking about, though, is if it gets that bad, power lines go down. The power grid goes down if it gets that bad. You're not going to be able to use your freezer unless you have a massive generator. I would say the first investment before a freezer would have to be a generator. We don't sell generators here. I'm not telling you to go buy one from us. But I would highly recommend you go get one. If you don't have one, me and Dex have said this multiple times. Again, get a dual fuel generator if you can. Get a good one too, because you pay more. It's worth it. They last a lot longer. It's just overall.
Inverter, they're quieter, and hopefully your neighbors won't hear you running it. And you could run it very infrequently to keep a freezer going. You don't have to run it 24/7. Just run it long enough to keep it cold.
As long as if you're not opening it all the time too, you would be able to actually do. If you kept it like sub-zero, you could even turn it off and just do it every once in a while, because then it will come down to freezing. As long as you keep it under 32, you can even get now they have battery powered wireless kind of alerts, so it will sit inside the freezer, and if it goes below 32, then you turn on the generator and you pump it up. Actually, super smart idea for those who are trying to conserve gas and generator. I would stockpile on gas, fuel, generator, and then do the frozen stuff and frozen. But it's going to be hard to find a freezer. It was hard to find it 8 months ago. It's still hard to find freezers. They're starting to buy a lot of frozen meals and frozen pizza, said Menser. We are seeing anything that can be microwaved, which again, it's like you're not going to have power. How are you going to use a microwave? This is the new generation's survival right now. Microwave, right? Quickly or easily made in the oven for kids. Okay. Fly off the shelves as people are preparing for schools and colleges to be closed this winter, along with the run on dried foods and paper goods as well. Craziness. By the way, we actually hit 28,000 on DLive. I had no idea we were at 27. We were at like 27.7 yesterday. So that's incredible. Thank you guys for all coming over and following. Maui Racing Realtor, have wireless thermometer so you can, what he said. That works. Dixie Doe, I don't know if you're heading out, but thank you, and I hope you get to watch the rest. There's some good stuff here. Jody Leck, always look forward to your info. Respiratory Jane, water first. Okay, good point. Respiratory Jane said water first. Yeah, that is actually a absolute. You need water and you need food. On this, so what she said is that these passports are getting passed down. So they already have these memos coming around. They are already talking about this here in the United States. I know from experience in Washington, if you are in Washington, then just so you know, I am 99.9% sure we will be locked down. But 98%, I believe that the entire country will be shut down as well. And there's many reasons I think this, but mainly because of some of the people we know that are already in grocery. Dex knows people in postal. They're all getting the memos right now. Do you believe that it's okay that we are going to be put in lockdown again? What do you guys think of this? Put in the comments below. Be nice. Make sure to be careful what you say there. But what do you guys think? Are you going to? Are you going to be happy about that? I don't think too many people will be. Damon Drake
and Adam, just
thank you.
So you know, my postal person told me their excuse that they were told was for the event in November, not for CV related.
That is incredibly scary.
Yeah, it is. That's what I thought.
That is incredibly scary.
So basically, Marshall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing I would highly, highly, highly say is don't wait until last minute like last time. You guys know, and I hope that in 6 months from now, if everything hopefully goes back to the old normal, I don't think it is. Again, I'll tell you why in a second. But even if it goes back to the new normal, I hope you guys are able to come and chat and say, hey, when everybody didn't have food and nothing was on the shelves, we had food because of you guys. Because of the Foogle fam, because of other Foogle family members in the chat that told me to prepare, because of other channels in the Foogle fam network like Alaska Prepper and all these people that actually help you guys actually figure out how to do it. Alaska Prepper does payday preps, which basically every payday, every 2 weeks, he does a video where he spends just a tiny bit of money and gets a lot of stuff for his money. He shows you how to affordably prepare. Listen to people like Ranger Rob. Ranger Rob is actually going to be showing people how to make a chicken coop. If you guys haven't checked out Ranger Rob, definitely check him out. We should love mob him again. He is an awesome guy. He just did a thank you video because I did a tweet. I just tweeted him out because he was doing that video. But you guys should definitely check him out. He's actually going to be teaching you how to make chicken coop, all that. You need that information in your head because there's not going to be a Google if anything happens. All right, let's see here. If you have information, by the way, if you have information that 100% you have proof, if you have documents, if you have anything, please send it to my Twitter at Marfoogle. If you go to my Twitter, you'll be able to see. You can even post it publicly if you'd like, or you can go DMs. My DMs are open to all, so please make sure to send that out. If especially, we would love if we had one person from every state, kind of, if we have proof from whatever states, then we could put out an alert saying these states we know for a fact are going to be locked down and when. Latrice Reed, thank you for following. Again, you guys are awesome. Rachel Little, thank you for always being cool, calm, and collected. My fam in Nashville, Tennessee, are preparing and feeling no panic thanks to the Marfoogle fam. Well, Rachel Little and your fam, I'm so glad that we can help you. That's awesome. Damon Draco, do I have permission to use a clip from this video on my YouTube? It's in relation to the Cascadia subduction zone. Yes, as long as it's in relation to Cascadia. Mikey Siggs, love the Foogle family. Thanks, Marf and Dex. Congrats on baby Jack. Or Damon Draco, as long as it's in a positive light, and don't use the whole thing because they do that thing where it's copycatted material or whatever. Watch this video. I was voting for BIDEN, but then changed my mind to T-Man by Bedros Koulian. Watch to then. I actually was about to click on that today. I got the that was suggested to me, and I didn't watch it yet. Brad B, I will check it out. I will make sure to do that. From Australia, it looks like. Exoskeleton suits transform car factory workers into human robots. What a flippin' world we are going to live in. Or die in. Wearable technology takes on different meaning in the light of automobiles. As employees get older and younger and avoid the idea of working on a factory production line, auto companies are looking for ways to lighten the load. High-tech exoskeletons are being studied by companies like Hyundai Motor Company, Ford Motor Company, General Motors Company, and the technology originally developed to help people who can no longer walk or stand alone relieves fatigue and prevents injuries. It's especially useful for repetitive processes that can't be automated, even when robotics is making great strides in the industry. It says all types of businesses have an emphasis on corporate social responsibility and occupational safety and strive to prevent workplace injuries, said Zhu Zhenhua, founder of ULS Robotics, a Shanghai-based company that provides exoskeletons to automakers, airport operators, and other industrial manufacturers. I just want to point out, too, isn't it funny that like this is like straight out of like a movie where the head of the robotics company is like, I developed these so I could walk again or whatever.
speaking of movies, the first thing that came to my mind, Adam, was the armored personnel unit from the Matrix. Do you remember that? That's the giant robot that you're exoskeleton in, and they were just walking around shooting. You remember that? Yeah, I think it was in Matrix 3.
Oh my gosh, that's so
Remember
crazy.
those? They were total exoskeletons on a very large, huge scale.
Wait a second. What is it called again? I wanted to pull up a picture.
Yeah, armored personnel unit. You could probably find it on Matrix fandom wiki or something like that. Not that I'm a fan.
Not that you're.
Not that you can tell that I'm a fan.
Oh, you're a big Matrix nerd. You took the red. I don't even know if we can say that. Isn't that crazy? That is where it came from. The Matrix started a resistance of sorts. Let's see here. Images. So it's like a mech type thing. Oh, wow. Look at that. Okay. Gosh, I haven't seen number 3 in a while. I just watched number 1 and 2, because it was on TV. So this is what they look like, right? So the guys, so they sit in there. Huh. That does remind me of that. So again, I actually shared something on my Twitter the other day. They have one that is actually a little bit bigger than this. It's an exoskeleton that they are going to do like robot jocks. I don't know if we covered that, did we? They're doing a new exoskeleton that's actually made for the purpose of competition. And they will fight like robot jocks. But the craziest thing is it's not like just normal controls like this. Your body, you use your body and you have to do training. So the person that they actually had training on it at the time when they did the video documentary about it was a woman who normally does skeleton sleds. So these sleds where every movement is, that's how they sled. Those, bobsled type things. And apparently these things are so, every movement you do, it does. So it has springs and things that does it. So these are actually going to become a sport. We are going to see mech fighting mech with human beings inside. Like Robot Jocks, the bad 80s movie, it was good. It was so bad, it was so good. It was so bad, it was so good. Yeah, that's happening. We are here now, folks. We are in the future, and it doesn't look as cool. I was hoping for Fifth Element, we've got the weird purple hair and the haircuts, but that's a whole different story. Not cool at all. In fact, mostly soy saturated, but whatever. Which they now have to grow in Russia. So, where's the real Russian connection now? Where's that noise coming from? Weird. Anyways, if you guys don't want to be tracked and traced by exoskeletons, robots, governments, I would highly recommend an eDeck bag. You can put your phone in it, your device, any device that goes in will go in and it's off grid. There is no signals coming in or out of these bags. In fact, they sell these to FBI as evidence bags so people can't remotely wipe the bags once they're in the evidence room. These are amazing, amazing quality. They will last in fact, these bags I believe will last longer than us. Thermo-sealed seals. Again, these things are badass with a magnetic closure. Okay, again, you can go to marfooglenews.com/edeck to support the show and go off grid. They also make one, the tried and true utility bag they've made for 12 years with a window so you can actually go and touch your phone and everything else while being off grid. All right, and then we've got Twister Music. Thank you so much for following. A lot of new followers tonight. Thank you so much. Mikey Siggs, love the Foogle family. Thanks, Marf Dex, and congrats on Baby Jack. You are awesome. Thank you. Couts SDSNY. New York King Como, locked down because of fear and anxiety, not science. I have link. Check out group I follow. My neighbor's Satukat Patriot. I don't know. That word is crazy right now. I ordered freezer in April, got it in August. So ordered it in the 4th month, and it took 4 months to get it. That's crazy. Thanks you, Corin. And then Die Hard Prepper, get prepared. Thank you so much for the massive support. Adam, my wife, and I don't ever miss a show. You've inspired our business. diehardprepper.com. Thanks. diehardprepper.com. That's awesome. Seriously, if you guys check out diehardprepper.com. Twister Music. Thank you so much for following. I'm super glad that Foogle Fam, and remember, try to support Foogle Fam instead of some other company before others. So if there's another Foogle family member that has a tire shop, go through them first. That's why we had our Discord set up. So small businesses could go in there and reach out to, basically put an advertisement for their business on there for us to purchase through them instead of purchasing through somebody else. If there's somebody in the chat, if you have a business, be careful with what kind and saying it. But again, once you've been around for long enough, people long enough that you can start going, hey, I've got a shop, in South Carolina. I do this. Would you like to purchase that from me? That's what I think we should all be doing. We should all be purchasing off each other. We should all try to support each other and, pool our resources and do something great with it. So that's my opinion at all. Explosion injures 3 in Harrisonburg, Virginia. So, lots of explosions for some reason. It says at least 3 people were hurt in explosions Saturday morning near downtown Harrisonburg, Virginia. I'm guessing this is a gas line or something, right? Officials received a call about a blast and a fire in a 2-story commercial building. Director of Communications Michael Perks said. Perks told CNN that officials are working to contain a 3-alarm fire that spread at least 2 other commercial buildings. Jesse Green posted a video on Twitter. It says, quote, I live about 2 miles away and it rattled my windows. He told CNN, I was able to get close and get this video. He said about 50 people were in the area and state police cleared everyone out shortly after he recorded the video. 2 people were taken to the hospital with serious injuries and another with minor injuries. Park said officials are trying to determine if others might have been injured. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Harrisonburg is about 54 miles northwest of, not even going to say that town, Virginia. So, Dex, I believe, do we have the tweet on this? I can just click on it, right?
Yeah, I think you can. I think you should be able to click directly.
Let me see. I do not have the tweet, so I can just go here, go original. Hopefully I don't get too many ad to Tads. Uncle Tad, Mr. Ad. Let's see the tweet. And by the way, all the tweets, all the videos, anything that we post here is actually going to be available on our website, marfooglenews.com. You can go and take your time, read the articles all the way through. You can go back. You can really, really spend some time on there. Josh Edmonds, Harrisonburg, VA. So check this out. It says, appears to be contained now. Ugly scene. Explosion heard from miles away. What in the hell was that? Let me unmute.
You already got it. You want to buy, not buy, the gift that drops from. You already got it.
I wish we had the video of it kind of like the bee root.
You want to buy, not buy, the gift that drops from.
But this is how it should be. There shouldn't be 18 people looking at it as it, goes off, right? People shouldn't just have their phone like, oh, I want to take a picture of that random toast factory. I don't think there's such a thing as a toast factory, but you know what I mean. Just holding your phone, hey, that toast factory. Quite a crazy toast. Whoa, it blew up and I got it on camera. And so did 18 other angles. Just saying. But this isn't the most exciting video, but what it shows you is the aftermath of something that a lot of people find very odd. Do you think it is DEW or something else? Maybe it's just fertilizer. You never know. actually, that does happen in these parts of the country. So very well could be more likely than that other one. And let's see here. Boom. Oh, okay. So we were going to cover a little update on this. The boy sent Baby Yoda to help firefighters. They're still doing this. We covered this back in March. I want to say it was March. Either way, boy sent Baby Yoda to help firefighters. Now they're taking him on calls. So, do you guys remember this story, or is it a Mandela effect? I actually told Dex before the show. I said we covered this like a long time ago, and he said we covered this back in March, which I thought was weird. Because is it a Mandela effect? Do you guys remember me talking about this? And he gives it to the firefighters, and they've been taking pictures with it. It's kind of funny. Dex, do you? I swear we covered
Adam.
it.
We covered a different Baby Yoda in March. That's what I looked up. Yeah, I did more research on it. It was a different Baby Yoda article. It had nothing to do with sending this. So it may be a Mandela effect for you.
No.
I can't remember.
No. Hold on. So
now, this did happen back in September.
We covered it. That's what.
Yeah.
That's
what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay, but you're saying
I couldn't find it.
The one back in March. What were we talking about, Baby Yoda? What was that one? Do you hear him?
I'm looking it up. Yeah, I hear you. I'm looking it up.
He's like the CSI computer guy. He's like, beep beep boop boop pop pop pop. I have it right here. And
March 4th.
Susan Donahue, you are so flippin' awesome. Says we are here together. We were born for this. We were born for this time. Hashtag Team Humanity. Susan, thank you so much for your massive support over 2 years now. Thank you so much.
It was CV could slow Baby Yoda toy production in March.
No. Okay, let's go.
That's the only thing that comes up on her site. So okay. I'm thinking there's a Mandela effect here or something.
Oh, okay. Chat. Did we cover the kid giving the Yoda to the firemen and the firemen taking them on calls? Do you guys remember this? Please put it. Don't just agree with me. Don't say yes because other people say yes. Do you remember me covering this? Because I'm having a Mandela effect, and I feel like I've already talked about it, and I feel like I already covered it. Yoda is the mark of the beast. Yes, no, yes. We've got a lot of yeses. Yes, sir. Yes, I remember it. No, sorry. A lot of no's in a row then. No, yes. CERN is back and doing crazy stuff. Yes, you did. Okay, half the people don't remember it, but I'm seeing people that watch every single night, so I think it's weird. I'm thinking I'm having a Mandela effect because when I saw that article, I go, Dex, we've already covered this like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. That is weird. So many people saying no. This is my first stream. Hey, who's that? Who said that? Make sure to welcome new folks. If you're new, if this is your first show, say it's my first. Just type in "it's my first" if it's your absolute first show. Let the Foogle family know. They'll seriously. They offer help. They do all sorts of stuff. I don't think there's too many people that this is their first. You're not crazy. Thank you. I appreciate that. American Defender. Rockefeller owns CERN. Plans for larger Hadron Collider. I know, that's scary. I do not like that. First, Phil Billy X, get out of here. Wait, somebody actually had one and you shaded them. Baby Yoda is everywhere. Yes, it is. It's my third. Awesome. Welcome. Lizzie Lean. That's awesome. First comment says Kits Me 83. Love to have you guys here. So awesome. Benchwarmer. Potsy. Stewie. Welcome all new people. It's my first, says Paddle Rushi. Welcome Paddle Rushi. Thank you so much. Yes, you did cover this. I'm glad. Hippie Chick, spelled with a Y. That's cool. Hippie Chick, welcome to the Foogle fam. Our whole goal here is to just get you used to this kind of stuff. So if something really does horribly happen, we're not frozen and we actually don't think about it. If you have kids or if you have a family, then this matters a lot more. But if you've ever had a disaster happen, it's like when it does happen, you freeze or you just don't think and you can't think of anything. I think that everybody should actually make sure to focus on basically preparing for anything and everything and not being afraid when it does come. So anyways, that is the majority of the news. Saturday news only is pretty much wrapping up. But, Dex, is there any updates on breaking news or anything like that?
No, I didn't have anything specific from the time that the show started. I did have one of our mods tell us that he did get a delivery of freezers in his local hardware store, I think Home Depot or something like that. So if you are looking for one, you might want to check often because they are coming in. I don't know that they're widely stocked.
Okay, what city is that? I'm sure.
That was Bones, so that would have been in Michigan.
Okay, well,
right?
If you're in Michigan, check your hardware stores because it'd be best if the Foogle fam got it before anybody else. Let's see here. There was another story though. Okay, well, I guess I can just tell you this one. There was a teacher that actually saved the grandmother of a student. So small child's on their laptop doing online schooling. Which a lot of us are doing. My 5-year-old's doing kindergarten on a laptop. It's really stupid. But the teacher recognized signs of a stroke in the child's grandmother sitting right next to her. She ended up saving the grandmother's life. The grandmother didn't even know. They ended up going and she was having a stroke. And she feels like she 100%, she would have died if she did not notice because it was just the kid. She ended up trying to do that. So that is pretty crazy. Good on that teacher. Absolutely amazing story. I'm so glad that woman is still alive, and it's most likely due to a teacher who is actually paying attention. And they're looking at 30 students. So for her to do that was pretty cool. All right. And if you have your kids in online schooling, man, what a dumb thing that is. The kids are constantly unmuting themselves. And me and Dex actually personally felt this when it happened. Somebody sued like Zoom and all these different things, and they changed things around. We used it a lot. We used to use it for our phone lines. We used to use different things for our phone lines. And what happened is I think they got sued for, say, a boss is in a meeting and somebody mutes their mic, and then the boss may have, forcefully unmuted them. And then they hear something like, screaming in the background, or he says something he didn't want his boss to hear, but he muted it. So the boss shouldn't be able to hear him. Well, the boss unmuted it for him and heard that thing and then fired the guy for it. This is just, I'm making up what possibly happened. But because of something that happened, they said, no, it's a privacy issue, and they took that away. Where this affects is, one, it affected us because we couldn't unmute the caller when we needed them. We had to have them do it. But also in class, these kids can unmute and mute themselves as they wish. So there's this one kid, his name is Jackson, and he's the funniest kid. But he interrupts the entire day. One of us has to sit with them all day. And this Jackson kid just randomly, just to kind of, he'll be saying like, 4 + 4 is 8. And then Jackson will go, I like to pet my dog opposite way. And then it will be, okay, Jackson, remember to mute your mic. Okay, but on Halloween, I lost a tooth last year. And it's like the whole day, there's a kid, at least one, and usually this one, that just says random comments and totally takes the teacher off track. So one thing I say, if you have your kids in school, you can completely relate, especially little kids in this online dumb schooling. It is my personal view that they could put them in bubbles over do this at-home stuff. We've got 3 kids, and we've got a brand new baby. It is almost impossible, even with both of us doing it, for us to keep a 5-year-old intently on a laptop. What do you guys think? Especially in a time when we're about to be locked down again, even worse. Do you think we can get back into schools? Who knows?
Adam, I can tell you from experience, even in the business world, when you have these online meetings, there's always somebody who's not on mute. They're in a grocery store making a whole bunch of noise, and everybody's looking around saying, shut that person up. Or they're flushing the toilet or something they shouldn't be doing.
Or using the bathroom.
On a business call. And it's like, why aren't you muted?
Yeah, it's always the one kid. Why do I have to go to sleep at night? Why does a tooth fairy only give me $1 and my friend $10? I don't know, Jackson. I don't know. But we've got to continue math. Remember, you got to stay muted and raise your hand. Why do my armpits smell? That was yesterday. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you for being here the entire show. Thank you for being Foogle fam. Full of Hope says USA trying to reset $80 trillion of derivatives this weekend. Will banks open Monday, October 19th, which happens to be the 33rd anniversary since Black Monday crash. Holy moly. That was Full of Hope from Europe. Christian Moore, love to my brother Joe. Yes, you did it before, Adam. Thank you, Neil Nelson. I appreciate it. I don't think Dex remembers, but I do. And then we have, let's see, over on D-Live. Top of the top. We actually have 28,100 now. That's crazy. We gained 100 just in this show. So thank you. We're going to be shouting out these. Thank you, Susan Donahue. First off, Gone Girl 777 and Veteran Steve. I appreciate all of you guys. And I didn't see Veteran Steve, but if you're watching the replay, Veteran Steve, thank you so much. You are an awesome part of this Foogle family, and thank you for your support. Machina Opus. Holy moly, Grand Astoli. Thank you for being number 1 tonight. That Ninjet, I believe, put you in the number 1 spot. So thank you so much. Close second, Merso 1. Thank you so much for your support tonight. Baldy Locks Awake and Jen Lay Awake. Thank you guys. I hope I didn't miss you at all. I do know I missed Jen at least once. Thank you and sorry. The Truth is out there in number 4 spot, and Priscilla. I'll make sure to pull up the other one so I can see all time. Of course, we have Amy R., Gone Girl 777, and my buddy End Times. End Times was a big supporter last night. Thank you so much. Tower Bear and Kelly 2334. When you do support, you end up on the next day's passer buyer. That's what an idiot calls it. The scroller, I guess you would call it. So thank you guys. It helps the show, and it's a way to get a message out there, a sentence or a saying. You can put it all here. We're actually going to probably change it up a little bit so it's better so you guys can say sayings or say shout-outs to other people. All right, Dex, I love you, brother, and thank you for being Dex.
Great show. You got, for our YouTube fam, there's about 7 minutes left.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. Make sure to kick it out 2 hours. New song tonight. Have a good one.
It's gonna be alright. If you sway to the left, if you sway to the right, if it's gonna be, it's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. If it's gonna be, it's gonna be alright. All right, Ilea says online school is the best. If you sway to the left, if you sway to the right, If it's gonna be, it's gonna be alright.
I don't log my daughter in until noon, says Ilea. Neil Nelson. Yes, you did. Thank you.
Gritty mo going back, full of hope. Gotta bring it right back, you know. Gotta do it like Susan Dawn. We are here together because we were born for this time here. Hashtag Team Humanity. Alright. If you sway to the left, if you sway to the right, if it's gonna be, it's gonna be, it's gonna be alright. If you sway, if you sway, it's gonna be, it's gonna be, it's gonna be alright. Now I gotta put a Q-I-S in Y. Gotta bring it up, ask why. Christine Moore and go, oh, everybody got no. Gotta do it just like this. Gotta do it like I'm Chris. Gonna bring it like Mikey Six. Gonna drop it down to Vicks. Gonna bust it like I never did before. Gonna do it like I don't know. Got a Neil Nelson on the low. Oh, thanks to our amazing moderators. Bringing up no old haters. Got a good, all good babies. Gonna bring it back.
Special shout out to Amy R tonight. Veteran Steve. Gone Girl 777. And a huge shout out to Machina Opus. Mercer One and a Bum Bum. Baldy Locks Away. The truth is out there, and Priscilla.
Priscilla, that killer, gonna bring it back. Gonna do it just like I'm saying, yeah. I'm gonna bring it back like the beat, yeah. Gonna do it with no TikTok tag. Hope, gotta bring it back. Gonna do it just like this, yep, yeah. With the idea, Neil Nelson and Chris Moore and the fun, the whole band around Susan Donahue and twist them music. Gonna bring two ads and Y. Gonna bring brief and Y with the beat and boy. With the big boy. With the bright boy. With the diamond drink off. Gonna do it, I don't know. Lot tree sweet and stormy weather. Gonna bring back now. I wanna get together with all y'all. Gone girl. Still gone girl. Run the world. Chad, the other guy has followed. Going right back, Joe Brown, Arias Hollow, and the Great 99. Timothy Tyler, gonna bring it back now. I'm in the silo. Thank you, Psycha, for all of your support. All of the platform. I appreciate you. Tam Lukey and the James B. And Mrs. C and Jules B. Gotta bring it like Johnny. A lot of that is S-Nor. Mr. Samarty, going back round now, where's the party? Baby gone girls, they're doing that, heard them know, oh yeah. Two old people on the couch. 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 Gonna hit it right, Dynamite. Gonna do it, everybody. Really wanna go. Yeah. It's gonna be starting, going back, never parking like a sea and a Noah. Gonna bring it right back, and that is the end of the show. Gonna do it and lose all the control. Die hard, prepping around in the empty shells. Everybody doing it like empty hell with a Mikey said. Gonna do it like this. Got West Virginia, prepare mine. And Jason Holmes, M-E-A-I. Hey, Trinity, and now Trinity. Oh, Red Bull, High Ho, Kermit the Frog here. Gonna do it like Bones is